Hey, what's up you guys? It's Ch24 and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you want to see in the future. Click that subscribe button and turn on my post notifications. That way you lovely people get notified every single time I post a new video. And I know I talk extremely fast, but you'll get used to it. In today's video, we're going to go into part 2 of Good Girl Bad Blood We are going to go into Chapter 24, Part 2 of Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, so let's get right into this. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, please click off of the video now. You have been warned. Alright, let's get right into it because it gets juicy. He didn't really need Pip to answer the question. She wasted no time clicking on the Fitbit app and staring at the colorful dashboard that opened up on the screen. No, Joanna was back in the room reading the plastic box. It's a charge HR, doesn't mention GPS, just says heart rate, activity, tracker, and sleep quality. But Pip had already found that out for herself. The dashboard on the Jamie's computer had icons for step count, heart rate, calories, burned, sleep in, active minutes. But below each of the icons was the same words: data not cleared, sync and try again. That was for today, Tuesday, April 28th. Pip clicked on the calendar icon at the top and skipped back to yesterday. It said the same thing: data not cleared, sync and try again. What does that mean? Connor asked. That Jamie's not wearing the Fitbit now, Pip said, or that it hasn't been in the proximity of his phone to sync the data. But when she skipped past Sunday and Saturday and clicked on to the Friday he went missing, the icons burst into life, completed circles and thick bands of green and orange, and those words were gone, replaced by numbers: 10,793 steps walked that day, 1,649 calories burned, a heart rate graph that spiked up and down in bright blocks. And Pip felt her own heart react, taking over, pulsating inside her fingers as it guided them along the trackpad. She clicked on the step count icon and brought up a new screen with a bar chart breakdown of Jamie's steps throughout the day. Oh my God, she said, eyes on the very end of the graph. There's data here from after the last time Jamie was seen. Look, she pointed to it as Joanna and Connor drew closer, still eyes circling. He was walking right up until midnight, so after 11:45-ish when he was seen on Weevil Road, he did. Pip highlighted the columns between 11:30 p.m. and 12 midnight to work out the specific number: 1,828 steps. What distance is that? Joanna said. Just Googling it, Connor said, tapping at his phone. That's just under a mile. Why did he stop suddenly at midnight, said Joanna. Because the data falls under the next day, Pip said, pressing the back arrow to return to Friday's dashboard. Before she flipped to Saturday, though, she noticed something in Jamie's heart rate graph and clicked the icon to zoom in. It looked like Jamie's resting heart rate was around 80 beats per minute. That's where it stood for most of the day. Then at 5:30, there was a series of spikes up to around 100 beats per minute. That's when Jamie and his dad had been arguing, according to Connor. It settled down again for a couple hours, but then started to climb back up through the 90s as Jamie was following Stella Chapman, waiting to talk to her at the party. And then it got faster during the time when George had seen Jamie on the phone outside, most likely to Layla. It stayed at that level, just over 100, as Jamie walked beyond 11:40 p.m. When he was seen on Weevil Road, his heart rate steadily grew faster, reaching 103 at midnight. Why was it so fast? Why was he running? Or was he scared? Then the answers must lie in the early hours of Saturday's data. Pip switched over to it, and immediately the page felt incomplete. Compared with one day before, the color circles barely filled in, only 2,571 steps in total. She opened the step count menu fully and felt something heavy and cold dragging in her stomach into her legs. Those steps took place between midnight and around 30 minutes passed, and then nothing, no data at all. The graph dropped off completely, an entire line of zero, but there was another shorter period within that where it looked like Jamie had taken no steps. He must have been standing still or sitting. It happened just after midnight, and Jamie didn't move for a few minutes, but it wasn't for long, because just after 5 passed, he was on the move again, walking right up until the point where everything stopped, just before 12:30 a.m. It just stops, Connor said, and that faraway look was back in his eyes. But that is amazing, Pip said, trying to bring his eyes back from wherever they'd gone. We can use this data to try and track where Jamie went, where he was just before 12:30. The step count tells us that that's when the incident, whatever it was, happened, which fits, Joanna, with your text of 12:36 never being delivered, and it might also tell us where it happened. So from 11:40, when he's seen at the bend in Weevil Road, Jamie walks a total of 2,024 steps before he stops for a few minutes, and then he walks another 2,375, and wherever that takes him is right where whatever happened. We can use these figures to draw up a perimeter working from that last sighting on Weevil Road, and then we search within the specific zone for any sign of Jamie or where he went. This is good, I promise. Connor tried a small smile, but it didn't convince his eyes. Joanna also looked afraid, but her mouth was set in a determined line. Pip's phone rang in her pocket again. She ignored it and navigated back to the dashboard to look at Jamie's heart rate. And then, in that time span, it started already high above the 100, and strangely, in that window of a few minutes when he wasn't moving, his heart was picking up faster and faster. At the point right before he started walking again, it spiked up to 126 beats per minute. It trailed off but slightly as he walked those additional 2,375 steps. And then in those last couple of minutes before half past the hour, Jamie's heart peaked up to 158 beats per minute. And then it flatlined, dropped from 158 straight to 0, and beat no more after that. Joanna must have been thinking the same thing, because then a gasp, wretched and gutted, ripped through her, hands smacking to her face to hold everything in, and then the thought took Connor too, his mouth hanging open and his eyes flickered over the step-fallen graph. His heart stopped, he said, so quietly that Pip almost didn't hear him, his chest juddering. Is he? No, Pip said firmly, holding up her palms, though it was a lie, because inside she was feeling the same dread, but she had to hide hers. That's why she was here. That's not what it means. All this means is that the Fitbit was no longer monitoring Jamie's heartbeat data, okay? He could have taken the Fitbit off. That's all this could be showing us. Please don't think that. But she could see from their faces that they weren't really listening to her anymore, both of their gazes fixed on the flat line, sailing along with it into the nothingness, and that thought, it was like a black hole feeding on whatever hope they had left, and nothing Pip could say, nothing she could think of to say could possibly fill it again. File name, case notes 4.docs. I almost had a disaster when I remembered you can't get into DMs on a desktop version of Instagram, only on the app, but it's okay. Jamie's associated email was still logged in on his laptop, and I was able to send a reset password request from Instagram and sign into Jamie's account from my phone. It went straight to Jamie's DMs with Layla Mead. There weren't too many of them, only over the course of about 8 days, judging from the context. It looks like they met on Tinder first, and then Jamie moved to the conversation to Instagram, and then they moved on to texting, where I can't follow them. The start of the conversation. Found you. So you did. I wasn't exactly hiding from you. How's your day been? Yeah, it's been good, thanks. I just made the best dinner this world has ever seen, and I might possibly be the greatest chef. And humble, too. Go on. What was it? Maybe you can make it for me someday. I fear I may have talked this up a bit much. It is essentially mac and cheese. Most of their messages are like that. Long bouts of chatting, flirting. 1/3 of the day, messages they discovered they both loved the show Peaky Blinders, and Jamie professed his lifelong ambition to be a gangster from the 1920s. Layla does seem very interested in Jamie. She's always asking him questions, but there are a few strange moments I notice. Didn't you say your birthday was coming up soon? Yeah, it is. The big 30. So what are you going to do for it? A party? Invite all the family? I'm not so much a party person, to be honest. I'll probably just have a chill one, hang with friends. This one particularly caught my eye because I was confused as why Layla thinks Jamie is 6 years older than he is, 29, turning 30. The answer comes lower down in the conversation, but when I first saw the exchange, I couldn't help but think of the similarities with what Mr. Clark said, that Layla was direct about asking his age, bringing it up a few times, and strangely, he too is 29, turning 30. Could be a coincidence, but I felt at least it was worth making a note. Another weird thing is that Jamie and Layla keep making references to the fact that Jamie lives alone in a small house in Fairview, which isn't true at all. Along this all became clearer when I reached the end of the conversation on Instagram. Hope we can meet soon. Yeah, sure, I'd really like that. Listen, Layla, I have to tell you something. It's not that easy to say, but I really like you. Really, I haven't felt this about anyone ever, so I need to be honest with you. I'm actually not 29. I'm turning 24 in a few weeks, and I'm not a successful portfolio manager for a financial company in New York. That wasn't true. I'm working as a receptionist at a job a family friend got me, and I don't own a house. I live at home still with my parents and my brother. I'm so sorry. My intention was never to deceive anyone, especially not you. I'm not even sure why I made up all these lies for my profile. I made it when I was in a really bad place, feeling very self-conscious about myself, my life or lack thereof, and so I think I just invented the new person I want to be instead of the real me, which was wrong, and I'm sorry. But I hope to be the man one day, I hope to be that man one day, and meeting someone like you makes me want to try. I'm sorry, Layla, and I understand if you're angry with me, but if it's okay, I'd really like to keep talking to you. You make everything better. Which is very interesting. So Jamie sort of catfished the catfish first, lying on his Tinder profile about his age, his job, his living arrangements. He explained it best himself. It was an insecurity. I wonder if these insecurities are related to what happened with Nat Da Silva, feeling like he lost someone so important to him, to an older guy like Luke Eaton. In fact, I wonder whether Luke is 29 and that's why Jamie picked that age as sort of a confidence boost, or a realization in his head of why Nat chose Luke and not him. After the long message, Layla stops replying to Jamie for 3 days. During that time, Jamie keeps trying until he finds something that works. Layla, please talk to me. Let me explain. I am very truly sorry. I would never want to upset you ever. I understand if you never talk to me again, but you haven't blocked me, so maybe there's a chance. Layla, please talk to me. I care about you a lot. I would do anything for you. Anything? Oh my god, hi. Yes, anything. I do anything for you. I swear. I promise. Okay. Hey, what's your number? Let's move this over to text. I'm so happy you're speaking to me again. I'm 475-555-0173. I don't know. There's something about this exchange that gives me chills. She ignores him for 3 days and then she just comes back with that. Anything? It feels creepy. I mean, more creepy than the fact that she's a catfish at all. But maybe those are just my residual feelings from one small exchange with Layla. Who is Layla? Nothing here gives me any real identifying marks. She's very careful, good at being the right amount of vague. If only she'd given Jamie her phone number instead of asking for his, I'd be in a different position now, able to call Layla directly or look up the number, but here I am, still hanging on those two questions. Who is Layla, and how is she involved in Jamie's disappearance? Other notes? I looked up the heart rate information. I just needed some context about what I was seeing in these graphs, but now I wish I hadn't. Jamie's heart rate spikes up to 126 in initial stationary period at 12:02, and it races up to 158 just before the data cuts out, but the range of beats per minute is what the experts might consider the heart rate of someone who has experienced a fight or flight response. And then it says file name, map with the sightings, and search area. And then that's the map. And then we go on to Wednesday, 5 days missing, and it says April 29th, volunteer search party for Jamie Reynolds, private, hosted by Pippa Fitz and Bowie, today at 4:30 p.m. Fairview High School, Fairview Drive, Fairview, Connecticut, 06820. Invited by Pippa Fitz and Bowie. 81 going, 12 maybe, 33 invited. Hello everyone. As you might have heard, Connor Reynolds' older brother Jamie has been missing for 5 days now, and I'm looking into his disappearance for my podcast, but I need your help. I've recently uncovered some information that provides an approximate area for Jamie's last known location. This area needs to be searched for any sign or clue as to where exactly Jamie was on Friday night and what might have happened to him. But this area is quite large, so I'm in desperate need of volunteers to help with the search. If you would like to offer a hand, meet after school today for the briefing, 4:30 p.m. at the end of the parking lot. If we have enough volunteers, we'll be splitting into 3 search teams led by me, Connor Reynolds, and Cara Ward. Please come find one of us to be assigned to a team. Thank you, and please let me know if you intend to come. That is the end of chapter 24. I will see you guys in the next video for chapter 25. Bye!